Be advised, suspect is armed and considered extremely dangerous.
Welcome to the Safety Doc Podcast with author, radio host, and nationally recognized safety expert, Dr. David Perrodin. Join us each week as we discuss the best and most bizarre practices in safety preparation and crisis response. Follow Dr. Perrodin on Twitter at SafetyPhD. And remember, the truth will keep you safe.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. David P. Perrodin from down here in the historic North Star recording studio. And this is a quick system check. So I had my primary PC upgraded from Windows 10 Pro to Windows 11 Pro. And everything seems to be working very well. One of the updates included installing the new Nvidia app. So when this machine was originally built in 2018 and has been kind of updated many times since then, but Nvidia would have you go in and log in and download updates for apps. But apparently that changed. They no longer support that, and I would still get notifications I would download and it would seem like it was running. Then I couldn't really tell. I mean, everything was running fine, but then the tech person told me, no, there's actually an app now that you need to download. So he did that and then updated the latest drivers for my Nvidia GTX 1060 6 gig on the card. Graphics cards. So that should be even better. That's already an awesome card, but should be running really well. So the transition to 11 Pro seems very smooth. I'm still running a Windows 7 Classic shell, so it's very familiar with me. One of the things that I need to kind of mess around with is trying to customize the font size for the tray and then like the start menu. It's pretty small for me. I've gone in and I've done the settings to increase the screen size, like on the 32-inch screen here, and the icon size and text and all of that's pretty good. And I don't think I've ever had that kind of workout before. So where I can get like I would like the taskbar to be a little bit like larger and the start menu. Now, benefit with the start menu is it shows the icons. So, it's not too bad, but it's Ron Wayne. Ron, I posted a response to your comment about one of my tests and the EPOS headset. I appreciate it. If Ron Wayne is giving me good feedback, I know is legit. So Ron, good to see you. It is like mid 80s here in Wisconsin. I am going to get outside in a little bit. I love this weather and we don't get a lot of it. So, and Ron, maybe you can give me a little feedback here on this. So I just picked up my PC this morning. I had it updated to Windows 11 Pro. It was running 10 Pro. Now it's running 11 Pro. To me, everything seems fine. The tech also redid my Nvidia drivers. So apparently there's an app. My Nvidia GTX 1060 60 gig on the card was original to this machine in 2018 when it was built. It's still very, very good for everything I need it to do. But you couldn't go on and it would prompt you to download updates, but then apparently that was unsupported and you had to get the app, and I never knew that. So he downloaded the app and then now has like the latest Nvidia updates. So it should maybe make a difference in video rendering, although again, 6 gig on the card. For what I do, that should run pretty well. So as I'm looking, nothing seems glitchy. Um, the headset I had adjusted to. So Ron, if you can let me know, does the headset sound good? Does it sound clear? Again, this is the EPOS 660, which is really designed, for speech, audio, and visual. Hey, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that, and I mean that because you are a connoisseur of this. You're excellent with all of your technical aspects, just overall, Ron, right? But I mean, so like when you're giving me feedback, I'm like, yeah. So that was what I wanted to test today. Is it's remarkable, um, just how like the the Windows 10, the Pro was effortless. Like, just like got the PC, put everything back, plugged it in, all the icons are where they're at, all the programs are there, everything seems to be running. And I was just a little not hesitant, but with the updating of my Nvidia card drivers, I just wanted to make sure that was good. My tech person here, I'll give a shout out to it's Alex Patino. So it's here with Ron Wayne and Alex Patino. So um, I it's called Zombites, and the owner's Ryan. He's probably had it for close to 10 years. He started the business, and it's downtown. A benefit of Ryan is younger than I am, so probably by 20 years. So he has a very successful business. He is a solo entrepreneur, repairs computers, phones, stuff like that. Again, has a great business, awesome reviews on Google review, just a terrific person. But I'm glad he's younger than I am because like hopefully he'll continue to be here and be in the area. Um, so and Ryan has done a lot with this machine. So this summer, again, updating the drives and taking this machine now up to 11 Pro. So I'm thinking, and we talked about this today when I picked up the machine, we should have we should have 5 solid years of use in this machine yet. Again, I'm running an 850 watt power supply, and the NVMe drive takes up less power. The the SSD blue drive takes up less power. It's not really a power hungry machine. Um, so, I don't think there'll be any kind of issues with that. And I have of plenty of RAM. I have 64 gig of RAM on the machine also, and it's very fast. Also today I received my Cherry Stream keyboard. It's the exact keyboard that I bought 3 years ago, um, and it's terrific. It's a scissor. It's called a scissors keyboard. So the buttons are about halfway up. Um, but I don't like the buttons that are all the way high and you get the click because obviously if I'm doing meetings and stuff and it's like click, 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 yeah, that's not cool. Um, but I don't like the membrane. It's the agorizer. I don't like the membrane keyboards. I just don't like the feel of those. And then I also I'm not really into a gaming keyboard because that's just not what I do. Um, but look at Ron, I appreciate this. So this EPOS Sennheiser headset. It's a 660 UC. This was $180 on sale. It's the most I've ever spent on a headset. So it replaced well, I mean, I was running a HyperX Cloud 2, which was a gaming headset, which was pretty good last year for what I needed to do. But then it also looked like a gaming headset, and the dongle gave out this thing, which is magnetic, and the Sennheiser is really cool because it just clips to my desk, which is metal. So it's like, um, and I learned like the um, that was pretty typical of those, and then I upgraded or I went with the Cloud 3, and that thing just didn't have any gain. Like you could do all the adjustments, download the Ingenuity software for it. So then I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I need a mic with good gain. I also need a mic that isn't going to be very obtrusive of my face. And again, over the ear is okay, but it does look kind of out of place in meetings because most people don't use headsets that I meet with. They use earbuds and the little mic thing, but I prefer to use the headset. And I think this headset just it looks more professional. I mean, it doesn't draw attention to itself like the gaming sets. So I've been really happy. It's a USB headset. Um, and yeah, it's very, very comfortable. But for me, like $180 is a lot for a headset. But then again, for what I use it for, you know, it made sense to do the investment. Plus, like I've just had headsets. I have to I have to actually toss my Cloud 2. Although I'm a little bit torn, I might keep it because the as just a listening headset without the mic, you just pull the mic off. It's okay. Like it's not bad at all. It does have the spatial button that still works, so where it kind of adds a spatial enhancement. Um, so, but I do have a really nice Audio Technica, like, and that was a higher end headset that I bought when I used my Shure mic. So, um, so I don't know if I'll toss that out or not. I might just keep that one. I did toss out an old LYX headset I had that the pads that all flaked off and stuff. Um, but yeah, one thing I want to do on the Shure microphone is I've been looking and there's a piece you can buy aftermarket which will extend this by like 6 inches right here. Um, that it actually connects because this is the Rode arm. So this is actually, the Shure, and here's the Rode arm. I like the arm. Um, it's perfectly fine, but I think if I had 6 inches on the arm, it would, because this is about, I mean, I can get the arm, it would allow me a little more flexibility in where I set the microphone up, and give me a little more access to my keyboard. It's a pretty small thing, but I've seen that in a lot of videos. So actually, like people who use this mic, and they have also like the Rode PSA arm. I'm like, what is that piece? And I looked, and it's like it's not sold inherent to the setup. And then the other thing was, so the other thing, well, with this is the Shure mic is lighter weight than the Yeti I was running on that, and this thing was holding up the Yeti well. So the Shure is certainly much lighter than that. So that's one thing they're like, well, if you do it, you got kind of puts the dynamics of the arm at risk a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, because that's not a very heavy mic. So I've got to look that up a little bit. But I'm really, really happy with the studio right now. I I have um, this is just like a sample, right? But I have all these folders. I I've been going through my file cabinets, first time in like years, and I have over 70 hanging folders which I cleaned out, and then I threw out a ton of stuff, like an entire um, a huge box that you could actually put like 4 milk crates in, stuff to burn, confidential, old statements and stuff like that. And then I had two full garbage cans of stuff that, mostly journal articles, just other like manuals to things I don't own anymore. Um, so like I consolidated a ton, and I almost have it done. Tonight I have one drawer left to do, and that's mostly my drawer for like lawnmowers, string trimmers, washer, dryer, kind of the mechanicals, chimney. Um, so that'll be the one I'll tackle tonight, and then hopefully I'll just put all of these hanging files away. And then I'm in really good shape down here. So Alex is saying I use Rode King broad headset. It cancels outside noise. I'm driving my truck. Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, this doesn't have active noise canceling. Um, it does on the mic. It meaning So the mic would cancel out sound, but what's coming through the headset, because these are on the ear, not over the ear. You can get on the ear, right, that has noise canceling. I decided not to do that because like it's never been a problem for me down here. It's not very noisy in the office, and yeah, it's never been an issue. I do have that on my other headset if I really want to kind of like not headset, headphones if I want to switch to that. But Alex, like that's awesome. Like my daughter has a couple sets of noise canceling, and I was talking to her. She was outside and she had a set on, and I was just a few feet from her and she wasn't responding. And I'm like, kind of like shake her foot. And she's like, whoa. And she's like, these block out like everything. I'm just like listening to a song. It's like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. And when I bike, which I haven't biked this year and won't bike this year, but I have an external JBL speaker that I connect to an old Samsung music player, not a phone. It's a digital, it looks like a phone. And then that runs well because I don't want anything in my ears so I can hear what's happening around me. So, yeah, I was buying, like I said, this headset was 180 on sale, and I would normally not do that, but I had gone through a number of headsets, and especially last year with a professional, with the meetings and also teaching classes. There were too many times where people are like, "Can you increase your volume?" or "I can't really hear you." And I didn't really pay too much attention to it until like I I was talking to someone and they're like, "You're like almost whispering." And then I went in, and that was with the HyperX, and I could barely get a line coming out of that to register on volume. I was doing I had it all the way to 100, and then I'm like, "Yep, this thing is." And then I'm playing back like recordings that I'm doing, and I'm playing back recordings from 18 months ago, which are fine with the headset, and then I'm playing recording like I just made, and I'm like, horrible. Ron is using the Snowball. Yeah, the Yeti Snowball. It's a Yeti, isn't it? The Snowball. That's a nice mic. It's sufficient, but I need to upgrade my camera. I have a Logitech Brio. So Ron, I don't know, like for this, the Logitech Brio, in my opinion, is an absolutely awesome camera. It is super precise. It's never been glitchy on me. I've had it maybe 2 years. I had a Logitech 920 before that. That sucked. I still have it as a backup. This Brio is absolutely terrific. Reads the background, reads the lighting really well, doesn't get jumpy. And it has its own little software thing too. So I can go in and I can do adjustments. Like I haven't done much fine tuning with it right now. But I can go in and change saturation and the size, and what settings do, right? So I'm looking forward to kind of tweaking that out. But I would give a complete endorsement for the Brio if you're using it for like a home office thing. Now, if you're using it to like outside demo, it wouldn't work with that because I don't think it's designed anywhere to have like the depth for that. But for anybody out there who is just like kind of at a table or desk and doing some podcasting or meetings, like this Logitech Brio, I cannot say enough good things about it. And I've had this like 2 years. It is just a awesome camera. It's zippy. Mike is finally not. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, so I'm running an EPOS Sennheiser 660 UC mic. It's a USB. Again, it is $180. It was on sale. And I just say that because it kind of shocks me. I would have never thought I'd pay $180 for a headset. But and I know there's headsets much more expensive than that and much more elaborate. But this was a big step for me. I bought it from B&H Photo. And they have really great online support. I couldn't get it through Best Buy. And one of my relatives buys a lot of high-end camera stuff from B&H and just said they're always great to work with. They know their product. So the person I call, it's like a B&H is out in New Jersey. They're like, yeah, I've used that. Like, here's what it does. Here's what it is. And I'm like, boom. Um, and it just has been phenomenal. Just plug. There's no software I have to mess around when. That was the thing when I got the Cloud 3 is it had this whole host of software, the HyperX Ingenuity, which I don't need because I'm not gaming. Like it's like, so you can hear the monsters entering from different parts of the room. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if there's monsters down here. Probably ghosts. I don't think there's ghosts down here either. So I do have a cheap H390 Logitech headset. I actually have two of them. And they look kind of similar to this. Those actually have been very reliable. A couple problems with those. One, first a plus, they both have excellent mic gain. So if I had to go to those in a pinch, they're very serviceable. The problems are the mic gain is good, but it's not very deep on it's only a $30 headset, like and it's over the ear and it clamps down, and after 30 minutes like your ears are hurting. And when I would use that as my primary mic, if I had like some days where I was on for hours, my ears would be red. So ouch. Where these are just designed to be much more comfortable, and the ratings are much, indicating that these are much more comfortable. So I hate USB mics, zippy. So I'm running my Shure USB. It does have where I could plug it in XLR if I ever want it to go that route. But for me, USB is works fine for what I need to do. Again, I'm doing doing this. So it's Ron Wayne. So there you go. And Ron, I would also suggest these Logitech. They're called the Logitech Litra lights. So if you go into Best Buy and you just type in like Logitech lights, they sit on top of the monitor, or you could just have them on a stand or whatever, but they're really fine on top of a monitor. They just like latch over. I have to make sure this one's not about to fall off. No, they're both very stable. They have the settings right on the back, or you can download the app if you have a USB plugged in, and you could actually adjust the lighting like on the fly. I don't do that. I just like turn them on, and they always come on this mid-range setting, which is fine. Those have been tremendous. Again, they're rated with a CRI of 93, so meaning they're going to show your face and the colors pretty authentically, and you're not going to get that like LED and the lights blinding stuff that is just harsh. They're like $50 a piece. They plug in USB, so and it's a USB to USB cord. So if anything happened to the cord, you could just replace it because it plugs into the back of the light USB-C. But these are tremendous, like right out of the box. I put the other ones already in the rummage sale box and tagged them out, and they work fine. They just don't work fine for trying to light your face up like that. I'm so glad like I'm beyond that. But if you just need like a USB, and they have a really strong clamp, the ones I'm selling, like it's a metal clamp. So if you like put it on a desk, like it's not going anywhere. So I put $7. I had two of them, and then I had a little pen light that plugged in USB, which was kind of a neat thing, although like I never used it and would never have a use for it. So I had all three for $7, and they all work. So I think that's reasonable. I looked online, and I mean, it would easily cost you like $60 to buy those new. And I didn't use them a lot. And again, they're in great shape. So dun, 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 dun. It's the ghost of the famous, the ghost. I had some episodes when I was doing the Safety Doc podcast where people would be like, go to like the 57-minute 11-second mark and looking back of you, and you could see these little white particle things. And sometimes they'd be in back, sometimes they'd be in front. But I think it's more of an archive of some, although like it's not dusty down here, so I don't know. But, nothing bad's going on down here. So I guess they're friendly ghosts. Where I live, and I think I shared this before, this 200 years ago was Winnebago Indians lived right here on my property. This is called the Indian Hills subdivision, and a mile and a half that way is the Indian Agency House, built in 1824. It was a government structure. It's still there today. It's a museum. And the government would trade with the Indians for pelts and food and, whatever. It was basically like government and treaties would get kind of negotiated, just a mile and a half from my house. And then we had a fort here, Fort Winnebago, it's disputable, like 1823, 1824, what the actual start date was, but it ended in 1845. And there's still one building left from that, the first building. And that is just, again, a mile and a half from my house. But it's a shame like that they didn't keep a couple of those buildings, because when they decommissioned it, they basically just told the people who lived around here, "Well, just take what you want." So then they just took all the wood. The farmer who lives there, who owns the property now, and it's been in his family, I think for 100 years, he still uses the original well that was built by the soldiers. So the shallow well still works fine. And he finds stuff out there all the time because, it was an active fort. Jefferson Davis was at the fort. So he actually built some of the furniture, some of the chairs that are still in the one building, which is kind of neat. So, but the fort was pretty active between, like, let's say 1823 and 1845. And there's stories of, and then it's next to Fox River, like there would be sometimes like stampedes where the horses and stuff would be like run across the river. So it's just, I think there's a lot of stuff that's probably out there, which would be buttons and belt buckles and coins and stuff like that. He doesn't allow people onto his property. And one time he showed, when I worked at Surgeon's Quarters, which is the original building, he shared some of the things that he had found, which were mostly like the things that I talked about. But I also kind of just wondered if there was ever like more there. But again, it's too bad that it was torn down, because like had a couple buildings been preserved, had they made it to like the 20s or 30s, and then like a historical group would have taken over, even the city, I think it would have been a huge draw for the city to have like this fort, this 200-year-old fort. So I was also the maintenance guy at the fort. And when I was going through, I'm trying to arrange a few things. So the Fort Winnebago complex, what's left of it, and they also moved in an old schoolhouse from like 1860 next to it to kind of broaden the attraction. But I was doing maintenance on this 200-year-old building, and I rebuilt the well. My dad helped with that. We rebuilt 200 feet of split rail fence by hand. And when I was going through all these files last night, I found a picture. I knew one existed, and it was a picture of my dad and I rebuilding that fence. And I knew that picture was there somewhere. I didn't know where it was. But we did it all by hand. So post hole, dug everything out. And it was all free. We donated everything. And he was able to get the posts, which are used in ginseng farms up in where he lives. And then we were able, basically, I analyzed it for a while, and I was like, how am I going to get this to stay together? And what I did is I bought lag bolts, and big lag bolts, and I would drill in, and then I could kind of cover up the lag bolts when I put the split rail fence together. It just worked, and it was really sturdy, looked awesome. And then, it's still there today. Like, you just drive by it. and it should last a long time. But the original, I mean, the one that was up there was probably 50 years old. I mean, it wasn't original to the fort, um, but it had, a lot of it had fallen down. It was all rotted. It looked really bad. So I'm like, I'm going to do something to make this better. So it's homeschool time. So yeah, Epic Charter School, doing it online. Yeah, I teach 2 classes now that are 100% online, you know. Um, and the one is through Zoom, and that works well. That's one of the reasons I went with a bigger screen. Alex is saying, it's deployed to Afghanistan 2010 and 11, and we ended up in an old Soviet military camp. Yeah, a bunch of abandoned. That's really awesome. Wow. Um, when I was, so when I grew up in a small town in northern Wisconsin along a moderately sized river, and the town, it was originally like a lumber mill town, but they had a dump on the edge of town, and that was in use well until when I was a kid. So basically, that's where all the garbage went. And when I say all the garbage, I'm saying like there were cars, there were refrigerators. I remember there was this old Coca-Cola like freezer cooler type thing that was probably from like the 1950s that someone had just pushed over the side. And now they don't allow that anymore. Although, like, I don't think they removed any of that stuff. I'm pretty sure they just kind of covered it with dirt. Um, but I remember as a kid, like with my friends, we'd be like 8, 9 years old, and you'd spend your time going through like down at the bottom of the dump just to see the stuff that people had thrown, or the stuff that was kind of surfacing. Um, Especially, like these Model Ts and Model As and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of neat. You had to take a swinging bridge over the river to get there, which is not, I think they still have the swinging bridge, but it's all like caged off. You can't get on it nowadays. So as a kid, it was really like great. Ron's like, I gotta get out of here. This is Batman stuff to do. I can take like a few minutes off, but the world needs me. I get it, Ron. And I'm gonna play this back later. I thank you, everybody. Thank you, especially Ron, for giving me feedback. I wanted to just jump in here because if this wasn't working, I needed to disassemble this and get it back down to Ryan like today to be working on it. So but yeah, everything seems to be a-okay. So my mind is at ease, and I'm going to get out there. We have a new subdivision being built in town. It's on the north end of town. So this is an interesting place because where I live, again, it's the second oldest city in Wisconsin. It's landlocked by Wisconsin River and some stuff, and so it's always been 10,000 people. But now they approved they approved a subdivision a couple of years ago. Now that subdivision is being built out, so it's pretty neat because from when it's on my side of town, from my house, I can start walking on these new roads that go there, and you can see these new homes going up, and a lot of them are single family homes, and a couple of really cool like designs. And then there's like a walking path, which is formal. It's a trail that they added into the subdivision, and then it goes out to like a dog park, and it's supposed to eventually kind of loop into other parts of town. But it's really cool. One thing that's not cool in this subdivision is they cluster the mailboxes. So meaning, let's say, there's 70 homes. So there's like 3 places where you have mailboxes. So if you could literally be 2 blocks away from where your mail is delivered. So you got to go there, and then it's not like made where you can just like open up your car, you lower your window and reach. It's on a concrete structure, and I'm sure they do that for security. But the thing is, like, this is Wisconsin. So in winter, I mean, that whole area is, if you're going to walk it, I mean, it's not going to be, yeah, you're going to have to put on winter shoes to get over there, whatever. But I'm like, God, I wouldn't want to be walking, 2 blocks every day to get my mail. So, but there's a lot of cool things to that. It's just that we have an area in town it's unique because the carrier delivers to our house. But if you go a block over, everybody has mailboxes on the edge of their property. So for some reason, we were exempted from that, and the postal carrier comes on our side of the road, and everyone has a mailbox on their house. But then you get a block over, all the mailboxes are on the road. Then you get to the new subdivision, and then there's just a cluster of mailboxes. So it's kind of like a little added benefit. I don't have to deal with the mailbox at the end of the road and snow piles in winter and all of that stuff. Well, everybody, I'm getting out of here. I appreciate all of you today. I do have the lighting on, by the way. So to me, the lighting looks good with this. So let me just do this. I'm going to turn these off. And they're really nice as far as like just a center button in the back. No, you got to go off, buddy. No. This light's like, I am not going off. So here's what it looks like when the lights are off. So those are the two Logitech diffuser. So certainly looks dark. And yeah, so big difference with and let me know your feedback on this too, Alex and Ron, if you're still there, but what your thought is. The two lights are off, so I'm going to put them back on. Good. I got the left light out a little bit and angled toward me. So yeah, to me, like, it looks great when the lights are on. They're cube, like 3.5 by 3.5 cube Logitech diffuser. You just type them in Best Buy, you'll find them. I think they're awesome. So, oh, you found belt buckles, the hammer and sickle, Soviet Union. Wow. So that the neighborhood I grew up in when I was a kid was all like military veterans from World War II or their widows. And they would bring out, like, once a year, the things that were brought back from the war, from artillery to belt buckles to patches to flags, right? And that was always interesting to have them kind of display like the things that they brought back from World War II. So, all right, everybody, I am out of here. Thank you so much for the feedback. Let me go.
Holy shit, a ghost.
Ooh.
Do you mind moving out of the way? You're blocking the TV.
Oh, shit. Sorry, man.
It's okay.